And welcome along to a very busy punters guide this weekend. We are all over the shop, Jason. We're going to look at a long shop at some point this weekend as well, because the Prix de Triomphe. And it's just a brilliant 2 days over in France. We've got Group 1s at Newmarket, great racing at Ascot, and of course, we're going to look at the big one at Redcar as well. There's just something for everybody. It's these brilliant weekends as we get towards the back end of the season that we live for, isn't it?
Absolutely. They are jam packed with action. And of course, it's a bit of a weather watch, isn't it? We don't really know what's going to happen over in Paris. That's what we're all watching for. And of course, back here, we've had that real sort of bad through the early part of the week weather wise. And it just seems to have got a touch better, dare I say it. So, look, it's getting to that time, isn't it? When there's that much moisture held into the ground so much longer. So it's going to need a bit of dig.
Yeah, let's try and find a few winners, and then whether it be home or abroad. Starting at Newmarket with the 130, we've got a Fillies handicap here, and top weight is trained by Carl Burke. Should we just keep it simple because he seems to be mopping up with everything right now?
Yeah, provided that they're drawn on the right side of the track, aren't they? I mean, what an absolute shambles that was. You shouldn't be getting that up at Group One tracks. Anyway, that's the way it was. Drawn in two. So yeah, on the right part of the track as well, could actually skip along from there. You've got Asher Reba, who's been going through the grades quite nicely, 75 all the way, 71, sorry, all the way up to 85. I think that his one right down the bottom might have got in a little bit light. Queen of Soldiers. Now, she finished behind Yorkshire Lady up at Ayr last time. There went no gallop whatsoever. She's got a featherweight on her back, hence Tyler Hurd comes in for the ride. And it's Blinker's first time. I dare say there'll be a little change of tactics here for the one. Galloping towards home, Newmarket stable, I'd say fairly going pretty quick early on with Tyler Hurd on board.
Yeah, the Queen of Swords just right down the bottom. Obviously, William Haggis has got the likely market leader there. And the same is true in the opener at Ascot as well, because Relief Rally was a good second to one that you put up no half measures a couple of weeks ago at Newby. The Irish got a raider here in Go Atletico. Small field with a good little contest for the Rous Stakes.
And I quite like the look of the shape of the race, if you like, because Democracy Dilemma is going to go flat out. Spencer, we always sort of pigeonhole him as the hold-up performer. He'll do well to hold on to this, I'd say, and come from the back of the pack. He'll be skipping along. Look, Relief Rally deserves a win this season. 3 runs have been absolutely rock solid. I thought, because she's only a pony, I thought she wasn't going to train on this season. But her 3 runs suggested that she's absolutely fine. Of course, you'll remember she went agonizingly close here in the Queen Mary over course and distance. It's time for her to get her head back in front in 2024.
Oh, they're sticking with that Relief Rally then to get ahead in front for the first time this year. Right, back to Newmarket and a decent pot on offer with a big sales race, £150,000 in prize money here. But as is often the case with these contests, it's more a case of quantity over quality. An interesting one was Afantico, who was running over in France earlier on this week. But yeah, a lot in here. But can we narrow it down?
Yeah, I think, look, it'll be easy. I would imagine the top of the market, Brighton boys off the back of a good win. They put the headgear on for extra focus, trying to squeeze out a little bit more, just that one big run with a massive pot on offer. And Triomphe, you'll remember, pretty good on debut, ran really well after a very, very slow start at the Royal Meeting. But those two are towards the top of the market. I think there's one that's probably slotted under the radar at a bit of an each-way pricing here, and it's May Encounter, right down the bottom for Henry Candy. Ran really well behind a mid-80s rated runner at Salisbury on debut. The Yard are not known for debut winners, are they? So the fact that she ran really well, she'll like a bit of dig in the ground from a family the trainer knows really well. The dam, a half-sister to Twilight Sun. I think she's a big improver. Look, away from the favourites, you want one at a price. I think she fits the bill each way.
Yeah, I mean, there are many winners this year, but always to be fair, of course, in this type of event. Interesting, he's pitching him in, her in this level on just her second start. Right, back to Ascot then for the Cumberland Lodge. And obviously plenty of old favourites in here, but some of them not ridden by their regular partners, with Jim Crowley and Tom Marquand over in France. Alarcy and Hamish get pilots on them to be reacquainted. I'm going to start with Hamish because He's had everything in his favour. He's been a little bit disappointing this season. I mean, where do we stand with him now?
Yeah, look, he has repaid the patience, hasn't he, of the team time and time again. With an official rating of 115, he's only a couple of pounds clear of Al Arsi. Now, Al Arsi ran in this last year. He was absolutely lapped by Al Karim. That is the way that he goes, isn't it? He's on a roll at the moment. We think we've got him straightened out, and he'll go and throw in a clunker. It's a really good opportunity for Kieran Fallon. You're right, Jim Crowley, he's over in France riding Amnat, I think it is. All the way, have a look at this, my thinking here, Matt. All the way down the bottom, God's Window bolted up on his return to action at Nottingham. He then has been thrown in the absolute deep end. They did exactly the same with him last year after his maiden success. They went and threw him in at Doncaster at the back end. He didn't run bad. He's run in the Derby. He's run a couple of times behind Kalpana, and it was an eye-catching run late on. Now, she's a rock-solid favourite for Champions Weekend in the Fillies and Mares. I think the form's been overlooked, as has God's Window with the weight for age allowance. Each way player.
Sticking with a 3-year-old then for John and Thady Gosden, God's Window. He said did have classic aspirations right at the beginning of the season. Right, let's look at the big one then on these shows. It is the Group 1 Sun Chariot Stakes for the Fillies and Mares. Only 6 set to go to post. A couple of these have also got engagements at Longchamp this weekend. But we've got kind of two sides of the coin with the market leaders. Inspiral, an absolute star, of course, but prefer the ground on the quicker side. And Tamfar, an up-and-comer who doesn't mind getting a toe in.
Yeah, this is the young guns going against the older team, isn't it? 4 3-year-olds. Darnation can't be soft enough for her. El Malka, she's back over a course and distance that she won the 1,000 guineas. See the Fire is off the back of a good win last time and had been running in some good races. And Tamfana, she deserved the win, didn't she, last time after an unlucky run? They'll be thinking, well, we can turn the form around with El Malka. Nashwa for sure, isn't it? You know, she's been kept back. She had a minor little injury, but perfect for her. Kept back for the back end of the campaign. It'll be here. I'd imagine it'll be the Breeders' Cup. I'd imagine it'll be Maidan. I imagine this is going to be her real money-making time for Nashwa. It's not been a lot to shout about this season for John and Thady Gosden. They might have played an absolute blinder here with Nashwa towards the back end of the campaign.
Maybe expecting a good day then for the John and Thady Gosden team and Nashwa on her comeback to land the Group 1 Sun Chariot Stakes for Jason. Right, back to Ascot. We've got the Bengough Stakes here over 6 furlongs, another Group 3. What are your thoughts on this one? Looks like a tight little event.
Oh, you got to feel for Apollo 1, haven't you? He's just been knocking on the door without it opening. Will it finally happen for him? I don't know. Corker always gives it away at the gate and then rattles home. Giraffe made a mark of 95, looked ridiculously low, didn't he, when he won the Shergar Cup? Billy Loughnane was on board, and he's fascinating. He's got a huge, long stride, doesn't look like a sprinter, but he keeps winning over this trip at the moment. Very boring for me, though. There's lots of horses in here I like. You know, Wiltshire ran a blinder for us the other day, just caught out towards the wing. English Oak has only ever had one try down over 6 furlongs. It was here at Ascot, and he was beaten by an informed Rohan. That's pretty good. I think that they could actually sort of remold him into a 6 furlong performer. Spencer on board, fast and late.
There we are then, sticking with English Oak then in the Wafdan colours. And then we've got Redcar's big day as well. The juveniles in action, a big pot, 150 grand up for grabs here. Again, it's one of those that's kind of quantity over quality. But Uncle Don, well, went into so many notebooks, of course, went absolutely flashing home at Richard Foley has a good record in here. I'm sure plenty of people will be latching onto him.
Yeah, and he sits towards the top because he's got an official rating of 97. Billboard Star, thought that was a huge run in the Mill Reef under what were tractor-like conditions, weren't they? I mean, very, very testing, but he ran an absolute stormer. But I looked down through all of them. I think possibly Richard Hannon, there wouldn't be a trainer who has a better record in all the sales races, wherever they are up and down the country, Newbury, York, Doncaster, and also here at Redcar. think he won this a million years ago with Frankie Dettori on board. I seem to remember that. But an Outlaw's Grace for me, 96 he's officially rated. He looked like he was going to take a big hand in the finish at Doncaster. That was over 110 yards further. He comes back down in trip, 6 furlongs. David Allen on board, and anybody else you want on your side when you go up the north of the country. So he'll do for me. And Outlaw's Grace, and he's an each-way play as well.
Outlaws Grace and Francis, this is the third big sales race he'll have running. A big pot, of course, York, Doncaster, and now this 2-year-old trophy at Redcar. Right, 8th and final race in front of the ITV cameras this weekend, and it's another straight course handicap at Ascot. We seem to have one every other week. It's the Challenge Cup this time. A smaller field than usual, only 18, because obviously they narrow the track, don't they, to save a little bit for Champions Day in a couple of weeks. So a little less to choose from, but still no less competitive, and plenty of old regulars lining up.
Yeah, look, Spencer, he gets the leg up on Carry the One. He's going to be popular. He's very, very hard to win with, isn't he? Popmaster, not really been his year, has it? But he's sort of slotted back down to an official rating where he's got to be competitive. And then you've got the horse watchers, Ross Colin, who's off the back of a real good win last time. I will, however, think that the handicapper normally gets it right, doesn't he? You know, he's very, very rarely you think, oh, there's a complete rick there. How did Germanic get left on the same mark 20 days ago? He went clear at Doncaster like he'd been shot out of a catapult, right? Now, Kieran Fallon, he's not likely to make the same mistake again. He's normally fast and late. This was a horse who's obviously ridden a bit different. He committed and went for home. He was all over the winner and then fell in a hole. I would imagine they'll be a touch more patient with him. Could be a good day for young Kieran Fallon.
Certainly could be then, yes. Germanic to note in the big one, the Challenge Cup. Right, what will be your strongest of the 8 we've looked at this weekend?
Yeah, I really like the look of God's Window. You know, when you've got the regulars in there, you know, Al Arsi, we know he can throw in a clunker. You've got Hamish. Al Kareem is guaranteed to go forward anyway, bidding to go back to back in here. And I think it just sets up nicely for Safi Osborne. What does he get in? £6 weight for age? The allowance, that's an awful lot, I feel. And ground, everything's going to be in his favour. He's also going to appreciate coming back down in grade. There's no City of Troy in here.
No, there we go then. God's Window, the strongest bet for Jason this weekend. I just want to touch on Longchamp as well. Obviously, Saturday's card. I mean, there's a lot of odds on, a couple of odds on favourites. So O'Brien's got Illinois. He's got Kyprios as well. And later on, the Prix dollar, Jim Crowley and Owen Burrows with Ammart looking to go back-to-back in that reel. I mean, lots of eyes will be on that. Lots of British Raiders this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when you think about we were expecting, or they were going to turn it around to be decent ground, I think that they had some heavy drizzle and really overcast. It's going to be grand soup, as they always call it, doesn't it? Right? It's going to be really, really soft and testing going around there. Could it be the year for Japan? More I look the way a Shin Emperor has been campaigned, his pedigree. I watched him working over there with a bit of dig in the ground as well, and he looked really, really good. Could it just be for the Japanese? And if it turns really, really heavy, just keep an eye on the German Raiders. Pretty sure, is it I'm trying to think off the top of my head now. Fantastic Moon, who ran in it last year. He took a big scalp last time when he put his a good win in his prep. One of those at about 40 to 1 that could run well.
Yeah, there's a couple in there. It's a brilliant renewal of the Prix lot of Triomphe on Sunday. Join us later on this weekend. We'll have an in-depth preview of Europe's premier middle distance contest on a Sunday afternoon. With a brilliant weekend's racing ahead, both here and over in France. Fingers crossed we'll find you a few winners to bolster that betting amount. Wherever you're backing there this weekend, the very best of luck.